Hi Laurence. So I will show you how to use the new platform. So I coded this platform to to record quotes. So as usual, when you pick up the phone, either you write it down on a piece of paper or you write it down on your computer or on a Google Doc. The information, meaning you ask the same type of question, you take the address, the name of the person, the email or the phone number, and what the person, how many parking space, how many handicap, and as much details. So as usual, the conversation lasts about 30 seconds, 1 minute, up to 3 minute max. Usually the conversation lasts. So right next after that, this dashboard, I'm still working on it, but the two feature that works is customer and quotes. So it's a way to record customer, and then it's another way to create a quote, and then after that I'll send the quote to the customer. So let's create a customer. Um, so I'll click on customer, add customer. Let's call it uh, not Lawrence. Let's call it I don't know, Orleans photography. Let's see, photography. The most important, there's three section. So there's the basic information, address information, and additional information. So the two first are is the one that you fill. You doesn't want to fill everything. I could say if you get the the required one is the customer type, but it's already selected. It's either residential, government, non-profit. Non-profit is like a church. Government is rare that government call. Residential is like apartment building, and commercial is like plaza or business. So, and contact name, let's say that person is Luke M. And email, let's say that person email, I'm just taking a temporary email because I will send an email to that customer. A temporary email is not is an email that you put the right email, but for this presentation is a temporary. Um, so you take the phone of that person, and the mobile phone is the same thing. Website, you can put the website. I believe you need the HTTP. You cannot use the www. I believe you still need the HTTP. Um, but if that person only give you the phone number, that's okay. Just take the phone number and I'll deal with it later. The address, let's say 123 acres. That's in Toronto, let's say, Ontario. Postal code. Usually people give you the address, the postal code, you look it yourself. Kilo for Alpha to Charlie 8. You look it yourself. Additional information, you don't need to do nothing. And notes, you don't need to write nothing, or I can say need rush. Wow, just this is a personal note. Create customer. So now that you create the customer, next things to do is to create a quote. So you go to the navigation menu, you go to quotes, create quotes. Again, there's three section or four section, five section. The client and job site details. By default is same as the client address. So meaning when you click Orleans photography, it will populate all those fields for you. Whatever fields that you had, or oh yes, client name and email is important. So I might need to modify this, but yes, you fill that. If that client doesn't have an email, just put any type of email. I'll work on this website later to fix things. Um, so the most important things about the after client and job site details is line item. The quote details, it's just personal. I like to have 30% profit, things like that, but it's not important. The most important things is line item is what the customer is looking for. Oh, I forgot. I forgot in the client and job site detail. Let's say the client wants have 95 parking spot, you put 95. If it has zero, you put zero. Line item, let's say you said line painting and quantity one, and then unit price. Let's say on the Google sheet, the no frills Google sheet, let's say the price was that. Okay, that's without tax. Uh, that I need to change, but the term and condition, you just need to copy from another a previous one. So either the Google Docs or I'll show you a link to or any previous quote. If you go open all quotes in another tab, you can select a quote and then, oops, oh no, I'm not in the right. So here I'm using Opera. So you just copy paste the term and condition. Scope of work is where you type what the person needs. So 95 parking spot, uh, two handicaps, two arrows, one no parking. So internal, there's a tab internal notes if you want to write internal notes, but scope of work is good enough. And then with that information, you go to no frills, and then the Google Sheet, and then you come back to this document, and you just said line painting. If that person doesn't have parking spot, let's say there's no parking spot, they want, let's say a stencil saying no parking only, and then you put zero there. You still say line painting, but on the scope of work, you just remove everything and you said no parking, so that I know. I don't know. So let's put it back to 95. Let's say. So that line item is important. Term and condition is important. Scope of work is personal, is internal, is important as well. So everything is done here. Here square footage is not everything that has an asterisk is important, is required, so that the form doesn't will not go to. So I'll create the quote. Currently the quote is created. So if you go to all quotes, Orlean photography, it's status to draft. So that's end of your job. So what will happen when you finish to create it, you let me know so that I can go, or I'll see it myself. I can go online, see, okay, this is the quote for the Orlean photography, their address, 95 parking, the scope of work is that, the term of condition, how they can pay and everything, and so on. That's all. And I can, if you have attachment, like a photo, I can add an attachment later here. And then they give the price with taxes, so they add the taxes. So that's me who will look at this. I don't think you'll need anything here. Maybe attachment, if you want to add attachment there as well. So next, for me, I'll go to mark as sent. Remember, I choose this email. This is a temporary email. So in 5 minutes, this email doesn't work anymore. So I'll go to more, mark as sent. This is me who's gonna do that. Or I will tell you yourself, say, okay, the quote, the price is good, mark it as sent, meaning it will send it to the client. So let's put it mark as sent. If you want to write something, okay, otherwise you can remove it and say update status. Click. So the code has been emailed to this address. So that's it. This is a temporary email, but you'll put the right email of that person if that person has an email. If that person doesn't have an email, that's okay. So I'll just call that person and find where can I send the quote, either by text or something like. So the person will receive. Sorry, I clicked twice on this. That's why I clicked twice on the mark as sent. Um, So the person will receive that email. Dear Orleans Photography. Oh, there's two Dear Orleans Photography. I need to remove that. Preview, review and let us know if you have question. This is the total amount. View quote online. They can uh, click here to view quote online. So this is the quote that we'll see. They will see. You have the link here. If you copy public link, you'll have the link to. You can paste the link here as well. So that client, it will review everything, and if they agree, they can click on approve or reject. So if they like the quote or not, they can approve or reject. And the quote is good for, I believe, 30 days. After that, it will be rejected. So let's say approve quote. So if I go to all quotes again, so you'll see that Orleans Photography, before it was on draft mode. When I send it, it will be sent. And then if that person, let's say Rico, this is a real company, so that I create the quote, that person has viewed the quote. The second link, that person haven't hasn't viewed the quote yet. So that person has two sites, so that's why there's two different. That's all. That's all you need. So like I said, you create the customer, add customer. You create a add customer. When you finish to add it, there's no important field here, but it's better to have an email or phone number if possible. If you have your name of the company or the name of the business, okay. Quote. If you don't have it, write anything. Anything. So I mean A B C D. Let's say. Um, Quotes. You go to create quotes. You will retrieve the company's info. Let's say Marshall Toronto, and it will populate everything. That's my real address. So let's say, and then most important thing is line item, quantity one, and unit price, and then term. You choose use custom term. You copy paste a previous term. Um, Scope of work is where you add all the details that person want. How many parking spot, how many stencil, how many, and you go to the no frills Google Sheet. You take the almost the last column, the column without the tax. So you put quantity one, and then unit price. Let's say unit price for was $862. So that's all you need, and then you create quotes. So this site is still under construction. So the customer and quotes, that's the most relevant that working. I forgot to mention. You can add attachment, or I can add attachment. Once you finish to create the quote, you can add attachment. If that person has some drawing, some files, you can add it. Or I'll add it myself because I think there's a limit of 5 megabytes, and sometimes client has like 20 megabytes of files. So you might have an error if you do it. But anyway, that's about it for this tutorial, and so on.